And it's a pleasure to have all of you here to get to hear from us. I would introduce Ratnakar Varanasi, who is the head of the open programs at ISB, Department Center for Executive Education Department, who will help us out with the GMP program details and also introduce us to the speaker today. Ratnakar?
Hey, hi. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking time on a Saturday. Very warm welcome to the Indian School of Business. As Devi introduced, thank you, Devi. That my name is Ratnakar. I'm part of the Center for Executive Education, and my role here involves developing new open programs and kind of marketing them to the respective audience. We have Mr. VK Menon. Mr. Menon is a senior director here at the Center for Executive Education, and he also heads the Center for Executive Education. Now, largely, we're going to kind of run this session, taking you through a small brief, which will not be more than about 8-10 minutes, and we really want to have more question and answers. We've got an overwhelming response from the market till as of yesterday. We completed interviews for quite some number of people, and the response has been humongous. And we would appreciate if anyone has any questions, please post them in the chat box, not chat box, the Q&A box, not the chat box, and we will try and answer most of them. Over to you, VK.
Thank you, Ratnakar, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Great to see you. And in the next 15 minutes, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, I will quickly take you through the program. But the objective of this session is not necessarily to spend too much time on the program per se. We did that in the last webinar. What we want to do this time is to spend more time answering your questions. What happened in the last webinar is that we couldn't answer many questions because there was a huge overrun. So this time we want to spend more time addressing the questions. So my first request to you is get onto the Q&A and keep typing in your questions so that we can see what your questions are and keep taking it as and when we present. Also, when I present the program, I can, if I know your questions, I can kind of take those points also as I go forward. Now, I'm kind of, to many of you, I'll be fairly kind of a prehistoric kind of animal, 1976 engineering, NIT Trichy, and then 1982 IIM Bangalore. Then I spent about 17, 18 years in industry with Philips, Escorts, US West, and so on. And then another 18, 20 years in academics. I was with STM IMD and then with ISB for about 11 years. Then IIM Bangalore, then SPJ, and now back to ISB. So that's a long story, Now, with this law, and also I must say that, in the roles, in all these roles in academics especially, I spent a lot of time actually, in counseling careers. That was one of my key roles. I was handling, in ISB, I was handling for 11 years admissions and placements, which the critical part of that was to counsel students to get the right kind of jobs and so on and so forth. So I would love to kind of discuss even off this session. If any of you have any questions, I would love to answer that. So just start typing in your questions as we go through a quick presentation. Okay. Now, ISB would like to be an internationally top-ranked, research-driven, independent management institution that grooms leaders for India and the world. Yeah, ISB might want to do that, but the question is, what does it mean to you? How will it impact you if ISB is wanting to go top ranked and research-driven and independent management school, etc., etc.? What it really means to you is that the inputs that you get from programs where you join in ISB would be right off the bat. It's not going to be based on textbooks written 20 years back. It's not going to be based on kind of a teaching taught environment. It will be very, very participative, discussion oriented, case study oriented sessions taken by faculty who are quote unquote global. Their education has been in top business schools across the world. They have kind of worked across world markets and so on and so forth. And that's what you will get when you take on such programs. And we are going to quickly cover quick ISB, your career trajectory, the GMP program, details, faculty and admissions. Stay with me closely because I'm going to go very fast, because the objective of this session, as I said, is on the Q&A. We want to address your queries. It's not a session where we want to give too much inputs. Now these inputs are fairly well known. There's been a lot of response, as Ratnaka said. So we want to answer your queries. And ISB, some of you may be aware, the founding partnerships with Kellogg and Wharton, then with London Business School, MIT, Sloan and Fletcher. So the resources from these schools will be available to you, in the sense that you will get the global resources, a pool of resources, not only from these schools, but from many other schools which are partners with ISB. The key thing which you will get from this program, and if you ask me, that would be the primary reason why you would be joining this program, would be the kind of faculty teaching you. As I said, there would be people with top academic qualifications. There would be people who have been there, done that, who have worked across the globe. ISB currently has more than 80 permanent faculty and more than 100 visiting faculty from across maybe 40, 50 top B schools in the world. And all these schools, whether it is Kellogg, London Business School, Wharton, Berkeley, New York University, UCLA, IAC, Georgia Tech, Darden, etc., are all places where our faculty have taught, learned, and then come back to ISB. Now let's come to the program per se. Why did we create the general management program? What is the rationale for the general management program? There are two things which we kind of kept in mind. One is this point here, all right, and the other is this point here. Now, here is one transition. And before I get into the transition, there are just two things I would like to say. This old fogies like me are very, compulsive storytellers, and we want to, so you got to kind of give me that tolerance. Huh? See, through this 35, 36 years in which I've worked, there are two things that strike me when it comes to careers. And I think these two things are very, very important. Number one is that it is a great thing for you to consciously try and move towards careers which you like. Consciously try to move to careers which you like, okay? Many of us get stuck in various careers. We don't have much of a choice. Engineering is first maybe thrust on us. Then after engineering, the placements happens. You kind of get into a job. You be in that job. You do well. You get a lot of, but that's a golden handcuff kind of a thing. You get caught in that whole track and maybe end up doing things which you are not so comfortable with. And my contention there is that you should try to move into areas that excite you, areas where you feel you can contribute the best. I'm talking this from data. I have assessed a number of students, people who have stayed on in jobs which they did not really like too much, and vis-a-vis people who made a shift, and invariably people who shifted to jobs which they liked did far better in their career. Seems to be a obvious choice, but it is perhaps not so obvious because of so many compulsions. The second thing is that it is very important that, and this I think is a critical thing right now, it's very important that each of you should continuously be in that learning mindset mode. It was important some time back. Today it is critical. The skills and knowledge you have today may not be sufficient even to keep you on a growth curve tomorrow. Forget 3 years from now. So, and the very fact that all of you are in this webinar tells me that you're all people who have the learning mindset. So I don't have to emphasize that. But let me just put these two facts on the table. Two areas where this program could be very important. One is you are a functional specialist. Say you did your engineering. You joined a tech company. You've been in programming for, or whatever you're done in delivery and so on and so forth. You spend a lot of time on that, okay? And then you want to then transit to management roles. And what could be management roles? Say you got about 7-8 years in delivery. You might want to do account management. You might want to do market management. You might want to get into strategy. So these are areas where you need different set of skill sets. How do you kind of look at markets? How do you look at accounts? How do you look at financial strategies? How do you look at analytics to take yourself forward, etc., etc. So this is one transition that this program plays a very important role. Obviously, this program is a general management program, so your career acceleration growth, this program is obviously catering to that. But I'm talking about two specific points which you can keep in mind. One is transition from a functional specialist into a management role. And second, and most importantly, and very importantly, see, when we kind of designed this program, we thought that this would be the number one area. This would be the number one area. But when we are seeing the kind of responses we are getting from the market, I think this is turning out to be the critical area. And what is this area? This is an area where you are already in senior management, right? In the sense that the kind of people who have applied and we have talked to are people who are heading functions, heading, running P&Ls, running a country. So senior people with 15 years, 18 years of experience, okay? Now, they want to move into top management. And at that movement of top management is they are experts in their own domain. They can run their own business extremely well. Take a person who is, let's say, and this is a live example, a person who has been heading the tech and research and development of a pharma company. That person anticipates that in a year or so, he'll be taking on the business responsibility for the company, a very major change for him. And for that, he requires overall skill sets. He needs to understand the market forces. He needs to understand financial implications, financial strategies, analytics, operations, and supply chain, and the whole thing. Okay, so this is the area which I think is going to be more and more important as I see days go by with the program. Now, quickly about the program: 9 months, 150 hours, all evenings and holidays and so on. The point here is that this is a very rich program, very rich in content, very content heavy, tools and techniques heavy. The more you put and invest into the program, the more you will reap the benefits from the program. So my submission to you is that if you are getting into this program, even though it's only 150 virtual live sessions, which also includes 2 residencies in 2 campuses, you will need to spend another 150 hours minimum. Actually, for me, it's about another 300 hours. If you really want, that 150 to 300 hours are the hours in which you will prepare for case studies, prepare for read up papers which are given to you, read up for presentations, etc., etc. If you come half prepared to the class, well, the takeaway is that much less. There are 2 residencies. So one residency will be in Hyderabad campus for about 4 days, and one residency in Mohali campus, 3 to 4 days, I think, in Mohali campus. There are 2 residencies, and the program starts in 15th of July, and the total investment is 7.5 lakhs plus GST. Now comes the tricky question, that this program would be, at least from the market side, we thought it will be for people with about 5 years plus of experience. What we're seeing today is that the average experience of the profiles where we made offers to has gone to about 11 to 12 years of experience. So there has been a shift upwards in terms of experience, but we require a minimum of 5 years. We are also willing to look at a few profiles who are exceptional, who have got less than 5 years. That's because today, 4-year experienced people are running companies. I mean, the world is a different world. You can't measure it by number of days or years of experience. Okay, so to that extent, depending on the kind of people applying, we might look at junior profiles also. There are 3 stages in this program. 1, the top management perspective. 2, the experiential perspective. And 3, the general management perspective. What do I mean by that? There are, again, 2 elements in this. One is, if you do this program, it will have an immediate impact on your work, surely, because you will learn number of things. That's from the layer of the general management. But the design of the program is not primarily focused on immediate impact. It is focused on the long-term impact. That's the leadership level. So every subject that is going to be taken will have a layering. There will be a layering. Suppose you take marketing. There'll be a layering on giving the fundamentals of marketing, because we can't go to the next level of leadership marketing without going through this. There'll be a layering on marketing. And then there will be a layering on the leadership quotient of marketing. How do you take decisions which are highly impactful? On top of this would be a CEO layer, or a perspective of how the CEO sees this whole business. All right. So if you look at this, We start off with a CEO perspective on strategy and change, and then go on to 6 modules out here. Okay, all these modules here. How do we go? How do we transit and how do we create this? First of all, you need to get into this decision making process. Okay, it's a mindset. You got to be able to take decisions based on facts, based on techniques which you learn, huh? So the first tool is, how do you make strategic decisions? Then you get on to marketing. Okay, marketing runs very closely with analytics. You people know that. I'm just re-emphasizing what is already known. Marketing runs very closely with analytics, goes into finance. We do the basic finance, we do, but on top of that, how does finance create value for the organization? How does finance create value? All right, today one of the key differentiators for companies is supply chain. So we're going to supply chain, especially in the digital world concept. The digital world has really changed supply chain, and these are tough decisions to take. How much stocks will you have in your channel? How do you ensure that your channel is optimal? How do you ensure that when a client goes to the shop, maybe the supermarket, and tries to get a product, the product is available at the same time, you don't keep more stocks, because the stocks will choke your money. So that is the key. And all these 2, 3, 4, 5 modules are going to be capstoned by customer centricity. Customer centricity, not just in the market, but from the perspective of your own customers. You may be working in a company, your customers might be within your own company and the market and the world. Okay, so that is your first part, and then we move on to the second one. Second one is about today, governance, ethics, and responsibility has become a key factor at senior levels. So we will understand the perspective from the CEO on all these things, and move on to a very critical area. This is an area much talked about, little understood. What I mean by that is, everybody today knows about AI, ML, robotics, this, that, and the other, blockchain, and so on and so forth. Can you apply it? But when I ask the next question, can you apply it? Then some hands will go down. Can you really implement it in your organization? Few more hands will go down. So the focus here is to spend sufficient time to understand emerging technologies, new technologies, and the next layer of how you can implement it in your organization. And then goes to the next module on negotiation and influencing. That is obvious. That this is negotiation and influencing is a good old thing. I learned it, you will learn it. Okay. The next portion is interesting. You see, while you have the tools and techniques, you know how you should take decisions, you know how decisions are to be taken, etc., etc. But in management, there is a big focus on yourself. Are you able to present facts in the best possible manner? Can you be convincing? Can you have a brand, a presence, your own individual presence? Because the client is not seeing the company, the client is seeing you. When you go see, for example, when you go, suppose you're going for a sales discussion, right? The impression you make to a large extent decides the outcome of the deal. Okay, so those kind of things, that means it switches on to the personal angle. And in the personal angle, growth and innovation. What is this growth and innovation business? Companies are growing. So you might ask me, what is this growth and innovation? I am only handling a small P&L of a company, or I'm handling a small function of a company. So what is this growth and innovation all about? Growth and innovation is how you can grow and how you can creatively innovate in your domain of work, adding to the cumulative synergy and positivism of the company. That's growth and innovation. And coming back to the personal side, how do you tell a good story? Very important, sir. Very important. You need to be able to present your points of view crisply, sharply, in an interesting manner, which resonates with what the client needs. You need to build executive presence. I'm not saying you don't have, by the way, all of you are experienced people. You have your own strong executive presence. But these are certain things which might help you to kind of go to the next level in terms of your executive presence. Okay, so this is one whole modules that will be around it. In the first slide, you saw ALP, action learning projects. Across the 9 months, you will be taking a project which you feel is important to you, could be in an area which you are working right now, or could be in an area where you would like to work after this program. You get it? Say, take the case of that tech head, delivery manager of a company, of tech company, wants to move into, let's say, account management and sales. So you might actually take up ALP on account management and sales, and get to grips with what that has to offer. That's the ALP. This ALP is reviewed. There's a faculty backing you. The faculty takes you through the ALP, and then you got to present and defend your ALP. And then how do you kind of overall build the management culture, your personal management culture in your organization as leaders? That I think is a very important deal. So you've gone into personal leadership, and then you go into ALP final presentations, and that's the program. If you look at the faculty, and I'm not going to spend time on this, Ram is amazing. I mean, every single program he has done, his rating has been 4.9 or 5 or something out of 5. He's from Anderson School. DVR is an expert in B2B from California. Siddharth is from Kellogg, one of the most research published professors in India. Soumya is from Manchester, as we fondly call Subramanian Ramnarayan is from Western Reserve University. See, these are all very senior people, in the sense that Ramnarayan, he works with, even though for you, he'll be giving you the interlinkages between what you work and how the organization develops. But he has worked on large organizations. For example, railways. He kind of looked at the entire railways as a chain and how to optimize freight and movement and transportation, and how to create a synergy in the whole, the system. That's the kind of people who will be teaching you. Ramana Sonti, always he Michigan State, and rated as one of the top faculty in ISB. Ashish Sinha is from UTS in Australia. Milind Soni is the deputy dean. He is from Georgia Tech. Jay Rao is from UCLA Anderson. Nandu Nandakishore is an interesting profile, actually. What happened here? Yeah, Nandu Nandakishore is an interesting profile. He is from industry. He was in the top management of Nestle. He was working in Switzerland. He was in the top management of Nestle. He is now a area of marketing. He's a faculty. So he'll take you through really what is really happening out there. And Arunachalam is from Iowa State, and Mihir Mankad is from Harvard Kennedy School. And also our dean is going to be knitting this whole program together towards the end. Dean Raj is one of the numero uno authorities on marketing, brand, and all those kind of things. So he'll be taking you at the next level, because he's like right up there. So he will knit up the entire program and connect you with all these concepts. Okay. Last slide. Experience minimum 5 years. 2 deadlines, June 14th and June 28th. It's a rolling process. So every application that comes in is evaluated within the week. Thursdays and Fridays we have interviews, and results are announced on Wednesday. So it actually, like Ratnakar said, we in the last 2 weeks, about around 33% of the seats have been given. So the earlier because we are not going to increase the size of this program. There will be our intake capacity. We want to restrict it to about 50, because we want to make it as participative as possible. So the earlier you apply into the system, the better your chances are, because the seats keep going in a rolling system. Out of 50, let's say 1/3 is already gone, and the other 2/3 are going on every week. Okay, and these deadlines are, when you apply, you can get shortlisted. When you get shortlisted, you have an interview, and at the interview there are 3 results possible. You are a select, you are a waitlist, you are a reject. If you are a waitlist, at the end of the deadline, you will get to know whether you can proceed to the offer or not. And so that's the shortlisting and process and interview process. And what we do, what is this interview all about? The interview is to basically understand your fitment with the role with the GMP. That's for us, it's very important. What will you benefit from this program is the question which I would be asking seriously when it comes to the interview. There is a loan facility. Ratnakar will take it up when he deals with it. So this is the quick overview of the program. Now, I would like you to just get on to the Q&A mode. Ratnakar is here, I am here, Sridevi is here, Anita is here. So our entire team is here and extremely happy to work, to look at all the questions that you have. I see a lot of questions also coming in. That's very, very good. Okay. So what I can do is I can see the questions. I will take the questions and I'll pass on to Ratnakar, and between me and Ratnakar, we'll handle the questions. Right, Ratnakar? Is that the way we go, or would you do that for me, or how is it?
Either ways, VK. I mean, I have answered close to whatever, some 25 questions, 32 questions
You
rather.
already gone on to the
Chat,
answer.
whatever I could, I did cover. One of the questions that's popping up very frequently, and I'll address that and then hand it over to you, is how different is it from the PGP program? And is there any placements? And how different is it from the alumni status point of view? So there are 3 points, 3 questions which are being very repetitive, and let me answer that. This is absolutely different from the PGP program. The PGP program is a full-time program of 1 year where you need to clear your GMAT or a CAT with about 730 plus of a score to make it up with a group discussion and interviews, and requires 1 year of leaving your job and getting onto it. And it's an absolute wonderful program, and you would need to spend about 35 lakhs plus GST on that particular program, and that's meant for professionals. About 6 to 7 years is an average that we get at PGP. So if anyone interested, please drop us a note. We're happy to assist you with that too. It's part of our flagship suite. We'll be happy to assist you with that. Referring to the networking opportunities, yes, in executive education, the largest advantage that people have in an open program is networking opportunities. And we ensure that even though it was live virtual, people thought we will not have networking opportunities, but we have come out with quite a few innovations last year where we ensured networking is considered as a prime thingy that people come for. So networking will be taken care in this particular program too, and in fact networking is better if you ask me, because the average experience that's going right now is about 14 plus years or 13 plus years of work experience. So you get to network with very senior folks at various functions, industry agnostic. So it'll be a wonderful experience if you ask me in that sense. Coming to alumni networking, we do have a few chapters. Sridevi, would you want to kind of take the alumni piece of it?
Sure. Thank you, Ratnakar. Well, I'm Shridevi and I head the alumni relations for the Center for Executive Education. And we do have a good, strong 32,000 contactable alumni who comprise this entire alumni community of ours at CE. And we do have them stacked up into 4 chapters located out of Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai, and Delhi. So you will be associated through these chapters with the entire alumni community of CE.
Okay, here is one question. Chetan, I'll quickly look at that. Working in a family business for about 15 years, and will this help to move into the corporate sector? My frank answer is that this may not help you too much to move into the corporate sector. Okay, what it will give is that it will give you the tools and techniques to make that transition. All right, but that move has to come from you, in the sense that you will have to identify where you want to work, where you will add maximum value, where where your contribution will be ideal, and so on and so forth, and use the GMP as the learning tool to make a transition to corporate. And another is from a armed force officer with 20 years of experience, transiting into a new career line. It is like this. This program is actually very good for you. But this is, again, like I was telling Chetan, may not be the open door program for corporates, in the sense that they will give you the tools and techniques. You come from the armed forces, you will get a very good idea of what is latest in corporate the entire tools and techniques. But the next level of reaching out and getting to corporates and getting a job, yes, you will have to put in that work. Um, Pankaj wants to understand the rational and career acceleration. Pankaj, see, career acceleration is very, very personal. Okay, uh, it depends on what you're doing, where you are at this stage, what you're doing, what you would like to do, etc. What you would like to do is very important. Okay, so what I can do, Pankaj, is if you want to, you can get to me on a separate chat after the program whenever you feel like, and I can discuss specifics. But having said that, will this program help in career acceleration? Answer is certainly yes. All right, because what does career acceleration need? Career acceleration, you are comfortable with a certain set of things and you've been doing it for some time. You want to go to the next level. You require a bridge. The bridge is this program. The design is that way. So okay, so it's an automatic career acceleration bridge that you develop. Ratnakar, on other executive MBA programs.
Yeah, so people, I saw a few questions. We're talking about EGPG of IM Gurgaon or EGMP of IM Bangalore. They're all wonderful programs. I did go through all of those programs that you guys are mentioning. The only edge that ISB has here is, and most of you are aware, we kind of bring in the global perspectives to the Indian context, and that's largely that's required in the economy that we live in. So that's where we think this program will stand out with the other courses that are being mentioned in the chat, because we kind of bring in the global perspective and marry it with the Indian context, and that's what helps organizations or individuals or leaders who become senior take up senior roles to lead these organizations. I think that's where we stand out. So this is different because unlike the other schools, we kind of believe in a lot of case study pedagogy and tools and a lot of synchronous simulations and so on. So that's where we kind of stand out on this particular program.
And Ratnakar, how many hours a week would it be ideal to invest towards this program?
So ideally, you will have 6 hours of sessions. Most of them we try and seen to plan it on a Saturday, but some, due to faculty's availability, have been on the weekday evenings also. Apart from the 6 hours of learning, you should at least look at another 3 hours of pre-reading material, post-reading. That's the bare minimum that I can think of.
Ratnakar, that is an understatement. Yeah. Come on,
Yeah,
six.
I'm sure.
For me, it's 12 hours of work. So Pearl, don't fall for Ratnakar's soft approach. Because see, see, what will happen is something like this. The class thing is so you will really love the class, but you will love the class if you are prepared for the class. If you are not prepared for the class, you're not going to enjoy the class. The whole learning experience goes for a toss. So yes, like Ratnakar said, you may have to put in a minimum of some 3-4 hours for us for the sessions. But if you ask me, it's slightly more. You need to at least factor in 1 hour to 1 hour. Uh, what Ratnakar, you agree with me, right? You require that kind of work, or will they get away
No,
with?
so it will vary. So I just put an average week. So for
Uh,
example, there
Comes
is a instrument that will be used for personal leadership that will require at least 4 or 5 hours, and there might be a simulation that will be required for a Marcom simulation that will require 4 or 5 hours. On an average, it will be anything between 3 to 4 hours. Now,
fine.
some might require more, some might require less.
Okay. Arvind, see, if you had asked me this question about 2 weeks back, I would have said that this program might not be good for you because you've got 20 years of experience, kind of thing. Today, the answer is going to be significantly different. In fact, we made offers to two very similar profiles, very similar to what you've said. Okay. So, where is that gone? The question is vanished. Where is that? Yeah, I kind of have somehow lost that question. Hmm. Okay, whatever. So Arvind, it's like this. Uh, since you are very senior in your organization, this again is the bridge to leadership, top leadership. Our faculty would love profile like yours because they are operating at that level. You will add a lot of value to the cohort. You will also gain a lot from the cohort. So in as I see today, it is worth your while to come in for a program like this. Does GMP qualify under FT top 100? No, no, no. This is an executive education program. Hmm? The FT ranking is for the 1 year full time program. Hmm?
And just to add, I think we're going into FT rankings, executive education also. In that, GMP will qualify.
The executive education will be ranked.
Yeah.
Executive education as a score. Um, why it is Ratnakar, take one of those questions because I'm having some trouble with questions getting randomly coming in.
Sure, we can. So I have approximate 4 years, 6 months of experience. Am I eligible? Yes. I mean, I would request you to share your profile first, because yesterday also we interviewed a person with just over 5 years of experience, but he is managed to move into a senior role with his amazing presentation skills and critical thinking skills. Request you to share your profile at the mail ID that I'm typing out here, and we will kind of take it up from there. This is to Gurpreet.
And
Uh,
look at that VRS. He would like to know the past history of these
yeah,
programs.
so VRS, just to give you a little background. So in the past, for about 18 years, we ran a program called Accelerated Management Program. A very similar program which had action learning projects involved, but it was those were the good old days where we had in-class sessions, and we had about 6 to 7 days at the Hyderabad campus and 6 to 7 days at the Mohali campus, and so we used to kind of have 14 days of sessions in campus, and we kind of ran it for about 17 to 18 years. You have a breakup of the class cohort in the brochure. It is there. Post which the pandemic hit us, and then we realized that can we give something more to the audience, and can we kind of utilize the virtual, leverage the virtual learning space, and try and see can we kind of add additional modules that are relevant in the current scenario, or the learnings from the current scenario to the future scenarios. Hence we kind of changed the program, revamped it up totally, and launched a general management program, and said this will be a 150-hour program with a lot of virtual interventions given the current situation. And I think it's ideal even in the future, because now we've kind of everyone has embraced the live virtual learning in a very positive manner. So we said we will kind of extend it and give larger learnings, and hence we came up with this program saying it's a 150 hour with two immersive campus sessions. So to answer your question in short, Mr. VRS, yes, we've had it in the past. You need you want to talk to someone or old participants. It might not be relevant right now because the course curriculum at that point of stage was totally different. But if you still insist you want to talk to someone, please drop in a line to the mail ID that I'm mentioning. We'll be happy to connect you.
And how is this stacked versus the EMBA? It's a good question. Okay, see the EMBA by definition. Why does it keep shifting like this? The EMBA by definition is a more spread, more rigorous in terms of the number of hours of teaching that happens. All right, the total thing. Any PGP program of ISB would be close to about 500 hours. So yes, the EMBA has got its own place. Okay. Normally, for an EMBA program, if you look at what is available in the market, for about the average experience, about 8 to 9, 10 years is where that sweet spot is for the program. Maybe 7 to 10 years is where the sweet spot is for the EMBA program. This is positioned slightly differently. This is a program which is for senior managers who have significant or good work experience and who would like to do two things. One is learn the principles of management, that is the GMP angle, and second is step into leadership. this leadership, as I was discussing, could be a functional change in leadership, or it could be towards top management. So that is where the difference would be. Um, Relevance of the certificate if we are part of an alumni network. See, as Sridevi said, 30 odd thousand students right now, maybe about 35,000 students right now are part of the CE alumni network. It's a very, very vast and proactive, vibrant network. You get a lot of, it's a supportive kind of a network. So you would be part of that. You'd be part of that network. Uh, Payment schedule, Ratnaka, would you like to take that?
So payment schedule, once you are, so the process is like this. I mean, it will answer most of the questions that people have picked up. We have interviews scheduled every Thursday, Friday. The process is you apply with with there is an application form at isb.edu/CEE site. You kind of apply in there and share your resume and the statement of purpose. We then There would be one of my team member who would be reaching out to you and looking at your profile and trying to see the profile relevance given the current cohort of the class already, and then we would reach out to you and request you for a time slot on either of a Thursday or a Friday. We conduct these interviews on Thursday or a Friday, and you would be getting your if you're selected or rejected or waitlisted, you would be getting the detailed information by Tuesday end of the day. And from there you have a time of 6 days to confirm over an email whether you have accepted the offer or not accepted the offer, and another 6 days to make a payment of there would be a payment schedule that will be shared with you. It's a breakup. We have broken it up into three parts, and the last part you will need to complete before the first campus immersion in November. So you will have a detailed once you're selected, you'll have a detailed payment schedule that will be shared with you on email.
And Jigna, the comparison between this program and PGP Pro, a good point. Okay, see, the PGP Pro per se is a PGP, right? So that's like it'll have all that the rigor of the PGP. It'll be a longer program. It'll have the rigor of the PGP, etc., etc. I think the profile of the PGP Pro would be maybe slightly junior than where you are positioned right now. Okay, so it is a program worth doing for you. Having said that, with 15 years of experience in supply chain function, so you are already, I'm assuming, at a fairly senior level in the company. So with that kind of experience, this program could form the topping that you need, the topping that you need to accelerate your career or to transit into another role, and so on and so forth. So both programs work for you, and you should take a choice based on where you would like to pitch yourself. Ratnaka's timings for how this will be.
So all the sessions mostly are planned from 4:30 to 7:30 on weekdays or weekends. Most of them we've tried and seen whatever best we could. About 30% of them we've ensured falls on a weekend, and the others either on a Friday evening or so. So those are the timings: 4:30 to 7:30, 3 hours of classroom session, live virtual session rather, on each of the days that I mentioned.
Right. Okay. Are these live? Okay. Will we be mentored on ideas which we want to work on? Yes. See, Harsh, we talked about the action learning program, right? Hmm? So that is a program where the action learning program is where you will take the initiative. You will have your idea or your project which you want, and then you will be constantly guided over the 9-month schedule. You will be guided by the faculty. You will have a faculty who will be guiding you, and then finally you will have to make a presentation to for that project. So you'll be handheld very closely for that program. And Sandeep, here is a good question. 15 plus years of experience and 10 in brand building, superb profile, 10 in brand building, pharmaceutical product, etc. Very interestingly, we have made offers to, as I was saying some time back, a, a few, actually about 4 5 people from your kind of profiles in the current class, just in the last two interviews we held. I have a feeling that this program could be what you perhaps need, and I'll tell you why. You've done a kind of a correspondence, an MBA. That's okay. You've done it, so you have the basics of the MBA with you. This takes you to a slightly different level in terms of where the inputs are going to come from and what you will be taught and how you can what you will assimilate and how you can use the program. And this is the perhaps the bridge from this experience of 15 years plus to move into top management. This could be the bridge that you need. So, of course, you can do a PGP always. PGP is always, you can go international, you can do a PGP. Those options are valid options. But if you ask me, for you specifically, this could be the bridge. What's the,
Okay.
yeah,
Common questions which are coming in. One on the for the people who have joined us late. No worries. You could drop in a note at cee@isb.edu. We will be able to share the session details and the program brochures and details as well. So no worries there. Also, there are common questions coming in about placement support. No, uh, the GMP program, which we're talking about right now, does not warrant placement support, but yes, it will help you attain the alumni status at the Center for Executive Education, the CEE department of ISB. Thank you.
yeah, there will be some sessions on career building, but no placement support. What is the industry perception about this program? That's a good question, Manoj. See, this program is in a new avatar, right? I mean, we've been running a particular program for a long time. Now, this we have kind of put in all these latest, whatever tools and techniques and created this GMP. So, what's the industry perception? The industry will take note of this program as a good program, a solid program for transition sake. That is for sure. That's my perception. Okay, that's my perception. So, so to that extent, the folks in industry will give you the positive scores which you would need. I think it's a similar question from Sahil. 9 years work experience, channel sales, business development profile, no PG MBA. Okay, added to my profile. So going with executive MBA or this GMP work. Sahil, both will work for you. Both are options for you. Okay. You can do an exec MBA. If you get a top school to do an exec MBA, go ahead, do it, because that will also add value to you. Okay. If you feel that you want to do a shorter program, but a very high end kind of a program, you should go in for the GMP. What do I mean by high end? I'm just kind of, that's a value judgment actually. I don't know whether you can call it high end, but what I mean by that is that the faculty who will be teaching you will be at the top of the pyramid, and the design of the program and the courses taught will also be uh, quite the latest, and the tools and techniques like Ratnakar said, including simulations and various other technology, that will all be good for you. So in other words, you can do this program, you can also look at options.
Ratnakar, a few common questions coming in from prospective participants who are based at Singapore and Mauritius. They would want to know what are the alternatives for the campus immersion.
So we've kind of, as everyone, we didn't preempt that the pandemic will kind of rise so high in March. When we planned this, we thought the first immersive session will kind of be in November second week, and I still assume that November second week things probably might come down. But assume that things don't come down and things don't change. The second immersive session is in March. Now, at ISB, we believe to deliver what we have promised, and we will ensure that you have an immersive experience Either we move the dates to March, or we kind of try and see. I mean, too early to comment on that. We will try and see to ensure that you get the best experience in delivery. And it could be through live virtual format or moving a little dates here and there. We will try and make sure that that's been taken care for all and we have already had about 3 people of international exposure or from other countries who have accepted the offers. So I'm pretty confident that we will be able to kind of do something about it.
In case travel would be a constraint for the participants, Ratnakar, would they still be able to join the virtual sessions?
Yes, our classrooms are equipped right now to take the virtual sessions from wherever you guys are based. While the faculty will be dealing with it in the classroom, you still will be able to join the virtual sessions.
Yes. So Rupak, if you are coming applying from Mauritius, as long as your side is good, that is that you have sufficient bandwidth and you have sufficient facilities, you can do the program. Kishore, the answer is a strong yes. um, sorry. The answer for you is a strong yes. You got 26 years of experience in sales and marketing, run a sales and marketing company for tech products. You want to grow the company. Do you think the program will help? Yes. Just go for it. Why? Because at your level of experience, what you require is the kind of input that will come from this kind of faculty. What you require is the way forward in terms of growth and how do you channelize growth? How do you inculcate? How do you bring in new ideas and concepts and creativity and innovation? All these things are very well covered in your program. Can you comment on the global acceptance of this program? I see the global acceptance of the school is very high. So any program that is coming from ISB will have some global acceptance. But I'm sure that the globe as of now is not very clued on to this particular program or something. But if you have done a program from ISB, you will get a credit for that. Banu Prasad, the answer is yes for you. 21 years of experience, banking domain, working as senior VP, acceleration towards ED CEO. Yes, for sure. Because again, what you need is a bridge, right? You kind of been there, done that. Your vertical is very strong. You need a bridge. You want to move to the next level, which is very general management oriented, and it's like a holistic approach is required. So the answer to you is that this could be very useful to you. I like this question. Is there a minimum attendance required? That's like really interesting. That I'll leave it to Ratnaka because he is the boss of the program. So I don't know whether he will insist on attendance. On how
No,
much.
we would look at some seriousness from all the participants, and unless and until there is a serious exigency which is unavoidable, while we have the sessions recorded and uploaded on our LMSs, and which tends to kind of give you a sneak peek post you missed a session and so on, or any queries that you would want to kind of look at. Ideally, we wouldn't recommend people to kind of miss it. But if there is some serious exigency, you would at least need to inform us, and we would look at some serious class participation while we evaluating the final certificates.
Ratnaka, a bit on that LMS, can you just give, or Sridevi, can you just talk a bit on the LMS, that learning management system?
Sure, we can. So all the participants will be enrolled on our portal, which is the learning management portal of ISB, which we refer to as LMS. You will have your IDs and credentials, all the program related content, the sessions, the case studies, assignments, everything would be posted onto the LMS, and it would be one portal which will be the go-to portal for all of our participants. There would be exigencies considering a lot of us, I mean, most of us come with corporate workloads and so on. So these session recordings will be available on the LMS for reference sake for at a later time as well. We will be able to go ahead and view it for reference sake or for refresher. So yes, that's about the LMS.
Sunil, is this program okay for somebody who is already having an MBA degree, 9 years plus of experience in financial industry? Actually, no. In the sense that if you have just done an MBA recently, I wouldn't really want you to do this program. Okay. But if you have done the MBA either maybe 5, 6 years back, or you have done it from a program which is not a very good program, then this becomes an excellent fit for you. Um, Rana, interesting question in the sense, kind of very experienced person who is like, getting into superannuation and so on. Um, Prospects. Let the screen remain. Any prospects of job placement? See, Rana, it is like this. I mean, the way I am seeing things today, um, if you have the requisite skill sets, then age doesn't become too much of uh, a kind of a criteria. Okay, the career has stretched for sure, and I am an example there. So that way you can start another career. But will ISB promise placements for this program? No, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't have a placement function. Will the alumni of this 30 odd thousand people, will there be a networking possibility and supporting? Yes, that could be there. So and you're a very senior person also, group CFO and so on and so forth. So yes, it will give you that tools and techniques of the required for the overall perspective. But I think you've already been there, done that. So the choice you got to take on whether this program will directly add value. It's a good place to be, but it's not for me. It's not 100% from my side for you. But we can discuss this on one-on-one, because your profile is so senior that I would like to actually discuss with you on a one-on-one. Um, what will this program cover end to end of a business? Executive MBA of IIMB covered end to end. As my goal is to start my own, it's important. I get a full view of business to develop an innovative strategy, etc. Vishal, to that extent, you can confidently go for it. It is not just the design of the program; it's the kind of people you will meet. It is the kind of ideas you will get, and if you are planning to, start your own, etc., etc., this could give you phenomenal insights.
And just to add to Mr. Menon's point, Vishal, the point that you mentioned is covered by none other than the Novartis Chair Professor of Marketing and Strategy. The business innovation and resilience and growth is going to be covered by him, and he has been a mentor to many organizations in their growth plans and startups. So the points that you have mentioned, I think he will kind of do a brilliant job on that, where he covers business innovations and resilience and growth of an organization or startups in the current scenarios.
Yeah, 21 years in PR and currently working for an MNC. How will I benefit from this program? Again, that screen is just going off up and down here. I don't know why. Uh, Let the screen be. Secondly, do I need to finish the program in 9 months, or is there some flexibility? To attempt the second question first, there is no flexibility. It's a 9-month program, so you got to complete it in 9 months. Will it help you in PR? I think in terms of your growth in PR, I think you've been there, done that. 20 odd years of experience is fantastic. What it will help you is to, if you want to make a transition, if you want to get to the next level within your company, it could even mean a broader marketing control, or it could mean a move into a more senior position per se. Um, Civil engineer, government, 24 years, superintending engineer, infrastructure. If I come out of and go into public sector, which area would help me into? See, Baswaraj, I mean, the thing is that with 24 years of experience in um, government sector, it's again this don't change the screen so fast. Um, eh, Infrastructure development and so on. I, I am not very sure whether this is the right program for you, Basuraj, because you have a very strong government experience and you want to move. And this program is not necessarily going to get you into the private sector based on the power of the program. It will give you an excellent construct to position yourself. It will do that. But whether it will get you a transition into private sector, difficult to say. So you will have to take a call on that. MBA from IMA, 18 years. To apply these learnings. Some of these concepts are okay. Mm. See, Rasik, see, you're from IMA, so that's like fine, and you got 18 years of experience. But the kind of experience which, the kind of learning which we had maybe 18 years back, or which I had 25 years, 30 years back, is very different from what is happening right now. So to that extent, this will be good. Your benefit would be that your fundamentals will be extremely strong. So that first layer is taken as given because you've done your MBA from IMA. So the second portion, where the value will be added to you. That is when you come into close contact with the kind of faculty who are teaching, the kind of thoughts that are coming in, the latest technologies that are coming in. So that could be the next step which you may need. Um, 14 years mixed experience towards automotive R&D. Can I get a jump on management after this program? Uh, will it offer placements? It will not offer placements. It will give you a potential. You say somebody has left the current job, it will make you equipped to take on a different role. It will be good for you that way. You can it'll equip you to move to the next level. Rana, yes, in terms of connect, as I said, will be very strong. You will have the connect of that whole network of alums and all that. But with about 35 years of experience, as I believe that, today it's not the number of years of experience, but what you want to do. So to that extent, it could be helpful. And it will definitely give you new insights into the top management. But you must also keep in mind that the average experience of this cohort might be about 15 to 16 years. So at 35, you will be at the right-hand tail of the experience level in the class. So please keep that in view. Ratnakar, will data analytics be covered as a module like machine learning in Python and so on?
We cover data analytics, not machine learning, but we cover emerging tech. So all the emerging technologies that could be AI and machine learning and so on, but we don't get into languages like or programming languages like Python and technical aspects like that. But business analytics and its importance in a managerial role, pricing and its importance in a managerial role, AI and ML in a managerial role. So it's covered from a management perspective, and it'll be covered.
Rishi, this program is absolutely for you. You got about 14 years, you work for 4 years, now you're an entrepreneur since the last 10 years, you're looking for developing your management skills and growth strategy in your family business, absolutely for you. So you can, if there are more questions, as you said, you want to ask, you can always get in touch with us and we can have a discussion on it. Sushmita, uh, 11 years of IT, professional services, R&D experience, currently working as senior Scrum Manager. Till last year, I was working as a full-time developer, moving into project management role. This is absolutely that. Even the example I took was kind of very similar to you. Having 10 years of experience, having very strong vertical depth, wanting to move into business domains, wanting to move into project management, account management roles. This is automatic. This is kind of tailor made. This tailor made. So go for it. Um, 10 years in land consultancy turnkey projects. Alok. Um, yeah, this would suit you. 10 years, good depth of experience in land consultancy and projects. You want to move to the next level in management. Design of the program is for that. Prashant, elective, I think Ratnakar has answered that. Um, 17 years of experience working in pharma. Um, you would like to transit abroad. Okay, this program will not directly enable your transmission, your movement abroad. But what will happen is that when you apply for a particular role, if you apply based on that solid experience of 17 years you have had and the domain knowledge or the knowledge that you gain from the GMP, that combination will be much better than applying simply with a vertical expertise. Um, Sridevi is there. Request you to shed some light on student support facilities.
Well, I may need a little more briefing in terms of what would be your specific query.
Yeah.
However, if you're talking about student support during the program, I had mentioned a little earlier saying the LMS, which is our go-to portal for all kinds of queries and content and program-related assignments and cases and case studies and session recordings, all of them would be available. Um, and of course, post the course, you will be attaining the alumni status of CE and aligned to one of the 4 different chapters that we have across India, uh, which will help you network with our alumni community, which is a good, strong 35,000 plus executive professionals.
Okay. Okay. What all is covered in finance? You can get into the depth of that in a discussion with us on what are the topics that will be covered in finance. Mm, Can it help me take a PhD program with the current graduation? No, this is not seen as a master's. So this is not going to give you leg up on the PhD program. This is a exec-ed general management program. Um,
Ratnakar, would you again give us a quick brief on the application and the post-program evaluation, please?
I just done that. I'll do it again. So so the application is available on the ISP Executive Education portal. Request you to go there, fill up the application form. The application form also has a link which helps you upload your resume and your statement of purpose. Please do that. Post which one of a member from the team will reach out to you and try and understand your relevance to the particular class cohort that we have. Post which we will line up interviews on every Thursday, Friday. There is a panel of 4 people that will be taking these interviews. Interviews ideally will last for about 15 to 20 minutes at best. And post a Thursday or a Friday interview, by Tuesday you get a confirmation as to whether you're selected, waitlisted, or not selected for a particular program. And please don't consider if you're not selected that it is because it could be due to the cohort experience also, because it's on a rolling basis, as Mr. Menon mentioned. Um, then you get about 6 days time to kind of accept the offer on a written mail confirmation to us, and another 6 days time to make the payment for the blocking amount. And the payment schedule, the offer letter, and everything is sent across in the mail that's sent out to you, that you would receive by Tuesday EOD post the week of your interview. And regarding class participation, I've categorically told, and there were people who were asking about attendance. We ideally want to have some seriousness in the classroom. While we all understand it's an executive education program, but it's for your learning benefits, and the class participation only enhances your learning takeaways. And so we request you to ensure that most of them are present in class. But due to any exigency, given the current scenario, or any other exigency at work, we completely understand. The recordings will be uploaded on the learning management system, which will be available for 14 days post the session date, and you could go through them before those 14 days expire, and come back to the classroom.
Uh, DV, 12 years plus middle management in business development and sales, MBA from Symbiosis 10 years back. Better to do ISB anyways general management program or do this course, Ratnakar? You're muted.
Which program is NUS is talking about?
Yeah, ISB NUS.
So I'm sorry, I didn't get your name, but we don't have the GMP NUS anymore going forward. That was another reason that we clubbed this program with the accelerated management program. We only have this program, and if our situation improves, we will have the ISB Kellogg. We will not have the ISB NUS program going forward. I hope I've answered your question.
20 years experience in a pharma company, leading a team of medical area managers. How will this program move forward? I think you can it would be a good move for you, Terudin, because you see you've got a very deep and strong experience in one domain. That's like in sales. Now, when you're moving from that one single domain experience to multiple, leadership roles, which is the next set of next steps in your career, that's where this program becomes the bridge for you. So it could be. I personally think this could be good for you. Um, Ratnakar, if you have further questions on this program, how and whom to reach?
So I've pasted in the chat window. I'm just pasting it to everyone right now, to all panelists and attendees. There is an email ID I'm pasting. And since we are already about 10 minutes post the session, please drop in all your queries. There's a team that will reach out to you, kind of address them, and we can have discussions on that same.
Um, Manisha, you can try this program. Of course, you have only 5 years of experience. It all depends on what experience you have, because we could you do move back to corporate at a stronger level. Perhaps, but I think it needs a small discussion. Pradeep, certainly yes. 15 years in procurement, steel industry, want to transit to own B2B business? Absolutely yes. You will benefit, because what you need when you transit into your own business, etc., are ideas. And one thing you can be absolutely sure about is that these kind of interventions and meeting these kind of faculty will give you the kind of ideas that you really need to start and try, succeed in your own businesses. What are your thoughts for me, who is from the semiconductor chip design domain, 20 years, currently into senior manager role? Money, I think it's a good good deal for you. See, again, what I'm seeing, Difficult for me to comment straight away because I don't know your background. But if as I'm guessing, your background is a very strong vertical depth in terms of design and so on and so forth, and you've already put in about 20 years out there. At some point in time, you'll have to make a transition, right? You have to make a transition to business, because whether within that structure or within your company for a broader role. So that is the bridge which I've been keeping on, consistently talking about, and I think it might help you. um, globe it will be helping us to become a T-shaped professional. You're right. That's correct. That's correct. That is the idea. um, Chartered accountant, one of the MNC consulting firms, 15 plus years. um, how far this program you expect will benefit me improving my effectiveness and efficiencies? Um, while I would like to have a separate chat on with you, because I would like to know the kind of consulting that you've been doing 15 years and what you do right now, and what kind of exposures you've had on the management front. But prima facie, from what you have said, this could help you a lot in your career itself. Because what will it do? See, you're a very strong finance person. You're a chartered accountant, 15 years in MNC consulting. So that part is taken care of, right? So where this program will help you is that the management inputs, and the management inputs coming at a fairly high level. So that clubbing of these inputs along with the financial expertise that you have could be your next move. um, 17 years startup and large companies, part of building technology teams, part of it. I would like to make a transition to product management or to mid management from functional role. Funny, absolutely, for you. I mean, this program is perhaps, as a profile, you would be very much in the sweet spot for the program. um, 16 years in IT. In terms of career progression, do we have data points in terms of career growth for historical participants? I'm afraid that we may not be able to give you specific data points, but what you could do is to connect back with our team. And for the earlier program, this is a new program, right? For the earlier program, we can kind of probably track you with some points on how the progression has been. 19 years wealth management. This course will help you in the long run. Absolutely, Mohit, go for it. Because you're very strong in banking and wealth management, and you want to transit into general management roles. I don't see any link for SOP and resume submission. Um, Instead, it was written to send to CE. Is that correct? That I think Ratnakar is answering. But others also may have the same question, Ratnakar. The SOP and resume submission, how to do it? Maybe you can elaborate a bit on that.
We did upload the application form, but if it's not working, please go ahead and send it to ce@isb.edu, as I mentioned. We'd be more than happy to kind of get those
Right
two.
now, is the application essay and the
Yeah,
SOP?
it is. It is. But if there are people facing issues, I will cross check again. But if anyone is facing any issues on that, please drop in your SOP and at your resume at ce@isb.edu.
Aman, 12 years experience, infrastructure engineer, a PGDBM from IMT, Nagpur. Want to move into finance market? How will this program move into a new sector? No, Aman. See, this program will not give you the. See, if you are moving from one sector entirely into a new sector like finance, then you need much more understanding of finance. So this program may not be the one which will give you that. This program will give you, as the name suggests, the general management program. So you'll get depth across the width of ideas like somebody else had commented. But if you want to move specifically into a finance area, I would suggest you should go in for a specific program in that particular domain. So I think we are almost Are we through with all the questions?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
I
sir.
think more or less we're through with all the questions. And if anyone has any more queries, I've posted in the chat box the email ID. Please drop in your query. We will kind of have conversations with you and take this forward.
So, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being a part of this great session. I enjoyed it and hope you did too. And
Thank you, everyone.
thanks, Ratnakar. Thanks, Sridevi. Thanks, the technical support team, and Anita, and, for this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. Do stay safe and a happy